your sleep story. Johnny Midnight is here to be the voice that guides you to sleep tonight. In this story, we'll meet three charming characters, a little girl named Anna and her friends, a bear and an owl. It's a simple, beautiful tale with heartwarming life lessons and comforting settings. The Wondrous Forest of Anna, the Owl, and the Bear. Once upon a time, in a cozy forest where streams whispered secrets and hummed lullabies, lived a little girl named Anna. She lived with her loving granny in a small wooden house that felt like a hug. The moment you stepped inside, every morning after a breakfast of warm porridge and honey, Anna would venture into the forest to meet her best friends, an intelligent owl named Owen, and a big-hearted bear named Ben. Owen was renowned for his wisdom and loved sharing stories of the forest, while Ben was the most playful bear you'd ever meet, his laughter echoing through the trees like joyful thunder. Together, they were an unlikely but inseparable trio, and every day promised a new adventure. On this particular day, a Tuesday, the air was fragrant with blooming wildflowers, and the forest seemed more beautiful than usual. As Anna walked the familiar path, she felt a thrill of excitement. Today was special, not just because it was Tuesday, but because she was meeting her friends. Owen had sent a message via Nightingale that they were planning a far first day of joy. "Good morning, Owen. Good morning, Ben." Anna greeted them as she arrived at their usual meeting spot, a sun-dappled clearing. The tree leaves rustled as if sharing her enthusiasm. Ben lumbered over, his large paws softly thudding on the forest floor, while Owen gracefully swooped down from his perch onto a tree stump. "Good morning, Anna," they chorused. Owen's feathers were slightly ruffled with excitement, and Ben's eyes sparkled like twinkling stars. The preparations began. Ben had gathered berries, and Owen was eager to tell stories. But what truly astonished Anna was the enchanting canopy of vines and flowers the owl and bear had crafted, hanging from the trees to create a magical space in the clearing. It was the perfect spot to begin their day of joy. The three friends were truly inseparable when they were together. Everything felt right with the world, and they could overcome any challenge as a trio. Today promised to be their most special day ever. They began to walk and fly through the forest, greeted by the trees and flowers, for in this forest, everyone knew everyone. "Good morning," Anna said. "Daisy the daisy." "Good morning, Daisy." Anna replied. "Good morning," Anna said. "Iris the iris." "Good morning, Iris," Anna responded. "Good morning," Anna said. "Violet the violet." "Good morning, Violet," Anna echoed. Ben led the way, each step filling them with more relaxation and joy for the adventure ahead. This forest was more than just trees and plants. It was a vibrant community, a home filled with friends, big and small. Even the bubbling brook that meandered through the woods seemed to greet them, murmuring "Good morning," Anna, Ben, Owen as they passed. Ben's heavy paws splashed water onto pebbles, making them chime like tiny bells, and Owen, usually reserved, hooted a jovial melody. Anna, Ben, and Owen finally reached the heart of the forest. Perfect clearing bathed in sunlight like golden honey, the bear began to lay out the plump, juicy berries he had gathered, which glistened like a simple yet heartwarming feast. Even Owen, typically more interested in knowledge than food, eagerly pecked at a few berries. "It's amazing how something so simple can bring so much joy," Anna remarked, her eyes twinkling. "It's the simple things that are often the most special, because they come straight from the heart." Ben agreed. Owen added his wisdom. "Remember, the forest teaches us that life is a cycle, and every moment is a gift. We should treasure these gifts and not take them for granted." The wind rustled the leaves, seeming to echo Owen's wise words like applause. Feeling content and enlightened, the three friends decided to play hide-and-seek. Ben, unsurprisingly, wasn't very good at hiding due to his size, but made up for it by being an enthusiastic seeker. Anna and Owen found incredible hiding spots in trees and under bushes. They laughed until their bellies ached, each round ending in a joyful group hug. They continued to play games throughout the day, enjoying not only each other's company but also the presence of the trees, the sky, and the other small animals that called the forest home. But the best part of the day was yet to come. They cherished the daytime. They especially loved when the moon and stars emerged, offering a cozy blanket in the sky. Feeling a little sleepy but incredibly happy and safe in each other's company, Owen perched on a low-hanging branch, his eyes twinkling under the soft moonlight. "Would you both like to hear a story from my younger days?" he asked. Anna and Ben nodded eagerly, their eyes wide with curiosity. "Very well," Owen began, ruffling his feathers as if preparing for a grand tale. "When I was just a fledgling, not yet wise and still exploring the mysteries of the night, I became curious about the moon. Why does it change shape? I pondered. Why does it hide some nights and shine so bright on others? So young and naive, I decided to fly as high as I could to ask the moon these questions myself." Owen paused, his gaze distant as he recalled that adventurous night. "I flew higher and higher, my wings growing heavy and the air thinning, until I realized I could go no further. Just then a cloud appeared beneath my tired wings and kindly offered me respite. As I sat there on that friendly, comfortable, cozy cloud, I understood. The moon wasn't hiding or changing, it was simply part of a bigger cycle, one that I was still a bit too young to understand." Concluding his story, Owen looked at his friends and said, "The lesson here is that wisdom often comes from understanding our limitations, respecting the natural cycles that are greater than us. Sometimes the questions we ask are not as important as the journey we take to find the answers." Anna and Ben listened intently, captivated by Owen's tale, feeling a newfound respect for their wise friend and the beautiful world they lived in. "That's an incredible story," Owen, Anna said. "Thank you for sharing it." After a moment of silence, filled only by the distant hooting of another owl and the gentle rustling of leaves, Anna cleared her throat. "Would you like to hear a story of mine? It's a tale my granny told me when I was very young." Eager for another story, the bear and the owl nodded. Ben even settled down on his haunches, preparing to listen. Anna began, "This is a story about kindness and how a small deed can change someone's world. A long time ago, a little mouse lived in our forest. Everyone looked down on her because she was small and seemingly insignificant. One day, the forest was hit by a terrible storm and a massive tree fell, blocking the river. The whole forest was in peril. If the river overflowed, it would flood our homes." Her eyes widened for emphasis as she continued. "Everyone tried to move the tree bears, wolves, even the elk, but it was too heavy. Just as hope was fading, the little mouse came forward. She nibbled and nibbled, using her tiny teeth to cut through the smaller branches. Inspired by her courage, the other animals joined in, working together. They finally managed to move the tree and save the forest." Anna paused, letting her words sink in. Before concluding, the lesson is never underestimate the power of a small act of kindness, or the creatures who offer it. We all have something to contribute, no matter how insignificant we think we are. As she finished her story, the clearing seemed to be filled with an even warmer glow, as if the moon itself was pleased with her tale. Both Ben and Owen sat quietly, pondering the lessons they had learned. Now, they started to walk back towards Anna's house, and on the way, feeling very sleepy. Ben the bear decided to tell his friends a very sleepy tale. The bear cleared his throat, a deep and gentle sound resonating with the very trees around them. "I have a tale that my mama bear used to tell me," Ben began, his voice softening. "It's a tale that brings peace and sleepiness to restless cubs. Long ago, in a distant forest much like ours, lived a cloud. This was no ordinary cloud, it was a sleepy cloud. During the day, Sleepy Cloud watched the forest animals play, learn, and explore. But at night, it had a very special job." The bear paused for effect, his eyes twinkling in the soft moonlight. "Once the sky grew dark and the stars came out, Sleepy Cloud would float gently over the homes of all the animals, sprinkling down a delicate mist. Mist had a magical quality. It carried the essence of lavender, of chamomile, and, most importantly, the essence of dreams, the sweetest kind of dreams. Every animal touched by the mist would feel their eyes grow heavy, their hearts fill with peace, and their minds drift into the most wonderful dreams." As the bear told the story, his voice took on a rhythmic quality, like a lullaby dancing on the breeze. The sleepy cloud never asked for thanks or recognition. It found happiness simply by bringing restful sleep to the tired souls below. And in the morning, the cloud would drift back into the sky, merging with the daylight clouds, content in the knowledge that it had given the forest another night of restful sleep. The gentle and kind bear concluded his tale by saying, like Sleepy Cloud, "We all have a unique gift to offer, even if it's just making someone's life a little bit more peaceful or a little bit more restful. Sometimes the best gifts are the ones you can't see but can deeply feel." By the time Ben the bear had finished his story, the three friends had almost reached Anna's home. Their hearts were full and their eyes were heavy. The wisdom and comfort of each other's stories hung around them like a warm blanket, guiding them toward a restful night. After ensuring that little Anna was safely back in her cozy wooden home, the bear and the owl said good night to each other and went their separate ways. The bear ambled toward his own abode, a spacious den nestled against the roots of an ancient oak tree. A cozy combination of leaves, moss, and fur made a soft bed within, giving it a welcoming aura. The entrance was covered with large branches, making it a warm, private sanctuary where Ben felt most at peace. Owen, on the other hand, took flight toward a tall pine tree where he had built his nest. His home was an intricate weave of twigs and soft feathers, situated on a sturdy branch that gave him a panoramic view of the forest. The nest was designed to cradle him perfectly, and from this lofty perch he could observe the moon and the stars as he settled in for the night. Anna, too, lay in her bed under a quilt stitched by her granny. Her room was illuminated by the soft golden glow of a bedside lamp, casting dancing shadows on the walls and filling the room with warmth. As her eyes grew heavy, she thought of Ben's sleepy cloud and Owen's wise moon, and she felt grateful for the lessons learned and the love shared among her and her friends. One by one, they each fell into a deep, restful slumber, their dreams filled with friendship, wisdom, and joyous new adventures waiting for them in the forest they called home.